So for more on all of this, let's now bring in Strategic Director of Concerned Veterans for America, United States Marine Corps and Army National Guard veteran John Byrnes, as well as the CEO of Bond and the former Deputy Commander of Israel Sayeret Matkal Special Forces Unit, Doron Kempel. Gentlemen, good morning. Really happy to have you both on. Doron, I think I'm going to start with you on this one. Are you surprised that President Trump was able to get Iran to agree to a ceasefire for 2 weeks? I mean, do you see this as a victory for the United States, as the president kind of does right now at this point?
I'm not surprised, and I say that despite the fact that our president is very hard to predict. But you know that very well as an athlete, that sometimes we take a time out strategically. For example, we need to warm up our striker. So I think that whenever our president raises the rhetoric to apocalyptic levels, he's trying to get the other party to ask for a timeout. Why would we want a timeout? If our only plan, which has already been achieved, is to eradicate the military of Iran, that has already been accomplished. However, if we want to accomplish the strategic goal of regime change, as have Iran start working with us as opposed to with China and Russia, then we need time. We need time in order to prepare for two major maneuvers. One is taking control of the Strait of Hormuz, and that requires some time for our military and also for other countries who are going to be part of the convoy. The second major initiative is to complete the regime change, which in my mind is a matter of Mossad and CIA getting to the right level in order to tell a friendly general to start the uprising. So in my view, this is a tactical timeout. We're not done in Iran.
Okay. So, John, as Doron was just saying, it's kind of like the whistle has been blown right now. We have a timeout. However, do you truly think that Iran will abide by this 2-week ceasefire? Can they honestly be trusted over the next 2 weeks?
Well, I'm not sure if they can be trusted. I think we'll find out. I think Doron's right about the fact that this is a timeout. I'm not sure it completely advantages the United States. Obviously, Iran continues to have that leverage over the Strait. That's a big nut to crack, even with the forces that we have in the area, not just taking it, but holding it in the face of continued Iranian resistance with drones and things like, their standoff weapons, the other things that they can bring to bear, proxy forces. Obviously, Israel's still fighting Hezbollah as we talk about this. So there's a lot to be worked out here. I think the big problem is, how does each side call a victory if this ceasefire goes forward? The United States does need to achieve some of its goals, whether that's regime change, whether that's just reopening the straits, whether that's allowing the Iranians to claim a win. The Iranians want to claim a win. Right now, in terms of the world stage, they're able to say that they've beaten the great Satan, that they've brought us to the negotiating table. So both sides are looking for a way to say that they have won without losing face and without allowing the other side to have victory. Hopefully that comes to pass during this negotiation phase, but there's still a lot of reasons to be doubtful about it.
Yeah, and Doron, actually, before we move on, I want to ask you the same exact question. Do you think that Iran can be trusted during this 2-week ceasefire?
They cannot be trusted short-term or long-term, but if I'm correct, and this is just a 2-week timeout, then it doesn't really matter. We prepare for the next phase, and it starts 2 weeks from now.
All right, here we go. All right, so only just hours ago, you have President Trump. He posted this over on Truth Social. He wrote, quote, "A big day for world peace. There will be lots of positive action. Big money will be made. Iran can start reconstruction process, just like we are experiencing in the United States. This could be the golden age of the Middle East." Interesting. All right, John, the question is, do you think this is about to be the golden age for the Middle East, as the president just alluded to?
Well, I would love to see it, but the Middle East has been a difficult geopolitical situation going back not just decades but centuries. It's the cornerstone, the crux of multiple civilizations historically, multiple geopolitical interests. You have the oil under the ground. You have the nexus point there between the Red Sea and the greater Indian Ocean and the Mediterranean, the greater Atlantic region. So I don't know about a golden age. Again, if we could see a lasting ceasefire between all the parties, if we could find a way that we don't have to worry about trusting the Iranians because we can verify the fact that they are unable to produce a nuclear weapon, or that that we can ensure that they don't produce a nuclear weapon, I'd like to start there and see if a golden age comes from that.
Agree. Yeah, fantastic point. So, Doron, the Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic in Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, he posted this over on X. He said, quote, "I warmly welcome the sagacious gesture and extend deepest gratitude to the leadership of both the countries and invite their delegations to Islamabad on Friday, April 10th, 2026, to further negotiate for a conclusive agreement to settle all disputes." We've kind of been speaking about this all morning long, these talks at the end of this week come Friday. How do you expect these talks to go? Do you think the president will agree to any of these proposals that Iran has put forward?
No. If the president has decided that we've already accomplished the military short-term goals of postponing the cancer that Iran is by 5 years, then this is going to be negotiated. It's going to be negotiated for a long time. The U.S. has the leverage while it prepares for a military operation that can open and keep the Straits of Hormuz open. If the real goal is just to take a timeout and to continue, we know that the president is great at head fakes. This is one of them.
Okay. And then you've got Secretary General Mark Rutte set to meet with the president today, actually. So, John, the president has... I mean, it's been on and on of him really been threatening to pull out of NATO numerous times. What can you expect from these talks? You know, because we've really been hearing he is extremely disappointed in the way that the Europeans, I guess their lack of involvement in everything that's been happening.
Well, I would say that's probably a signal for the president that his instincts were right and that we need to kind of adjust the relationship we have with European nations overall, but specifically NATO. You know, he's made a point over and over again, and Concerned Veterans for America has supported this, that they're not, as he says, paying their fair share. What they're not doing is contributing as much to their own defense as the United States is. They're not willing to spend the money and to organize in a way that they can defend themselves against, you know, what they expect as Russian aggression. So this is for him a way to bring that into the equation in the Iran negotiations, and for him to, as he sees it, right-size that relationship. You know, we deprioritize Europe below the Indo-Pacific and below North America in the national security strategy. We also deprioritize the Middle East below Europe. So this might be a little bit of an adjustment in the president and his national security team's thinking, but it's overdue to rejigger that relationship with NATO anyway.
Yeah. Doron, before we go, I would love your thoughts on this as well. Again, Mark Rutte set to meet President Trump. And again, as John was just saying, to put it very lightly, those other NATO countries certainly have not been pulling their weight whatsoever.
Right. So the Europeans are an important partner of ours in the bigger chess game that we're playing with China and Russia over the course of the next 30 years. With regard to our European friends and partners, they don't want to go to the dentist. And President Trump is applying some pressure in order for them to take and pull their own weight in this game.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting. A lot of huge meetings coming up again, one today, and then that massive one on Friday. Gentlemen, John Byrnes, Doron Kempel, really, really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much.